Commission meeting to order and determine the quorum is present.
Okay.
Look around and see if we got a quorum.
Okay, let me go ahead and get this. Calling the Castle Hills Parks Commission meeting to order. And I'm checking to see if there was a quorum, and it looks like there is. And the time now is 11:43 a.m. And let's go ahead and start the first order of business, which is going to be the welcome. And good morning, everybody. It looks like we don't have any members of the public here available. So I guess we're going to go on to the second portion of business with review and approve minutes of December 8th, 2018.
Move we approve.
So,
Second.
okay, so let's go ahead and take a vote on that.
You want to ask for any discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, discussion? Anybody want to talk about the minutes?
Nope.
We want to talk about it.
Okay,
All approved?
let's go ahead and vote on it. Okay, looks like,
Okay, do us a motion.
Jack motion and I seconded.
and so this, all four of us are voting thumbs up, is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay, great, good deal. Okay, so on to the third item here. Discuss possible action on the current status of the Castle Hills Parks and ongoing efforts to establish parks. So the ones that I know about currently are the kind of the I guess the cold opening of the Jackson Keller Elementary that was announced on Nextdoor.com, and other folks were aware of that as well too. But this has been kind of Bernard's baby here, and you know, I have not had a chance to work with him personally to help him, like taking accounts of all the parts and that sort of thing like that. So does anybody have any discussion points on these on this particular item here?
One of the reasons I put this in was because we have some financial obligation in regard to the sidewalks. We don't have any information on that right now. As far as I know, I think we have some funds available we may be able to use for that purpose when it comes up. But when it does, we're going to need to take it to the council, I think, for approval. Anything we put up in the way of finances for this, we probably have to get approval on. Right now, I don't think this is right yet for action.
Motion that we just table it for the next meeting.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, we have our meeting with the construction folks from NISD, so they're going to give us the cost for that sidewalk, and then I'm hoping that we can actually bring it to council next month through an MOU and in-kind donation as part of the project partnership.
Okay, and do we want to move to have Mr. Rampley bring that information to council next time? Because that'll be before our next meeting.
I retract that motion and amend it to where we direct Mr. Rampley to bring the I guess you'll have your costs, you'll have your budget for it at that point in time. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, right now we have operational dollars right now, and then we'll get it.
So I motion to bring that, Mr. Rampley, bring that forward along with the budget associated forward to council at the next meeting.
Second. Third, Jackson.
So go ahead and vote on it then? Okay, discussion on it.
Ryan, anything else you want to share on that?
No, sir?
Okay.
Vote?
Okay.
All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, then I guess we go to item number 4, discussion, possible action on new park hours at the Castle Hills Elementary School. This one, what kind of influence do we have on that? And would we be the ones to make rules, or do we just make suggestions?
No, we don't make any of the rules because Castle Hills Elementary and Northeast School District own the property, and they make the rules essentially as to how they're going to make it available. So while we have received information about the hours, I don't think it's been posted on our website. I think we probably would like to do that, Mr. Rampley. Don't you think that'd be easy enough to do?
Yes, I mean, the school sent over some times as far as when it would be available, obviously before it gets dark and so on. And it obviously may change or adjust with daylight savings time in the summertime.
I understand that they're going to adjust their hours when daylight savings time comes into effect. It changes the hours again. I think they'll make the hours available during the week But right now, since sunset comes so early in the afternoon, they're not gonna make it available after school, but only on weekends and holidays.
And Bernard had sent me what had been mentioned by, or sent out by the principal over there, and so, we'll put that on our website, and let Castle Hill residents know that that is the case right now, that they will be able to utilize. But obviously the change will, I mean, the hours will differ based on what Councilman.
Ryan, can you go ahead and make an announcement on our billboard? A lot of people see it. I think it's a nice little way to, we have a City Castle Hills Park located at whatever. Please come.
Announcement from next door and our little bulletin board over here on the south side would also.
Yeah, we can go through all those,
On the bill, I'm sorry, I said the billboard, to make sure that, we just think we need to utilize that for the benefit. of the
you're talking about the digital billboard.
The digital.
Yeah, oh,
billboard.
yeah,
Good,
yeah.
I'd love to see it up there.
It's, we have limited space as far as fonts and everything, but I think we can get the message out.
I would,
It would be a one-liner, right? I mean, it would just be a one-liner scroll that we run through there,
Something like that,
you know?
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't
if
need-
you look at the one for the passports, it's like, need a passport,
Yeah.
City of Castle Hills, 209 Lemonwood. I mean, it's,
but I've seen it, and that's the point. is
Oh,
I
yeah.
see that- I see
Yeah.
that thing, and
so
it catches my eye.
bright yellow.
Which I like, and so I think we're doing some very good advertising with that.
And the line right below, we can just say, Castle Elementary open to public as a utilizing the park or whatever.
A lot of people probably have a heart attack when they drive through, going, what?
Yeah. and
Something
it's-
that the city's open to public?
Well, it works because as I gave the numbers to council that we had about, I think, 26 or 27 passports in November. And then we started advertising mid-November and then 52 or 53 for the total for December.
Well, it basically shows we're open to
Sure.
families and public, and that's what we want to move forward on in the city, in my opinion. So,
I think we can put an advertising plan together to promote this, including the digital billboards.
okay.
We need to pass something, Mr. Hapley, or can we just go from there? You gonna do it?
I'll take care of it with staff.
Okay, fine. No action necessary.
Okay, and I guess, we're going to move on to the next item, looks like everybody agrees. Okay. Okay, so the next one is number 5, discussion and possible action on additional proposed park locations. So that's, I guess, that's, the only one that I'm aware of right now that we're looking at, is the proposed dog park that, Ms. Gelmeyer has talked about, and the, and I don't know if we're going to go ahead and do this thing the same way it's done with the commons, or is it, that sort of thing is something that he's been kind of leading the charge on that, and I'm not familiar with all the various.
There actually are total three parks that we're looking at. First up is Castle Hills Elementary. The second one is Jackson Keller Elementary, which is also available on the Northeast School District's parks program. And so I'm thinking that that's the next one that we're going to be interested in working with the school district on. We also would like to have a park on the north side, and there are churches and schools up there that have playgrounds that we might be able to use as a park. I've discussed it very briefly with Mr. Pinkston, who has the Christian school up there, and he seems amenable to it. I've given his number to Mr. Hudemeyer, and I think they're going to be in contact. There are other options as well. There may be something we might be able to do with the Boy Scout Park. There may be something that one of the other schools might want to participate in, I don't know, or one of the churches. So that's still open for consideration. The Jackson Keller Elementary School, as I understand it, does not have a very active PTA program. So they will probably need something more in the way of financial support. So that's one of those are the three parks we're looking at. Since Mr. Udemeyer's presentation of the Barton Park proposal on the little piece of ground north of the HEB's installation on the south side of the city, we've discovered that actually is owned by a private company. It's not city property.
Yes.
So it's problematic at the moment, whether or not we might be able to do anything with that.
Is it owned by the HEB or?
No, it's owned by Fink Cigar.
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
HEB just owns a sliver going around, but it's all,
Oh, thanks. Okay.
So, that's.
So by Pink Cigar?
Yeah.
Oh,
They used
folks
to
that
own
are
that,
on
they used to
the
own that whole area back in.
Oh, right, right.
yeah, we verified that this week.
Okay.
Interesting.
Is up and smoking.
Oh, you ought to be ashamed.
Okay, that's the best line you can use right there.
Shame. Wait a minute,
By the vote.
that'll be some disciplinary action.
We did it.
All right,
Sorry.
that's right.
Would things consider donating that to the city by chance or not?
Call it Pink Park.
I've never,
I mean,
It'd be great.
honestly, I haven't seen, maybe.
Can't hurt to ask.
Can't hurt to ask them anyway, so.
Yeah.
Just takes a letter, it just takes a letter of inquiry.
I'll suggest that to Mr. Utermeyer.
That would be, I think, a very appropriate suggestion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other than that, any other action that we need to take on that?
The unfortunate part is you might get a response with a monetary, but
Yeah, that's okay. It's worth the ask, so. I have nothing else.
Okay.
We'll move on to action.
One of the things that we had talked about previously, and I guess we can kind of roll into that topic, is the idea of having a Parks Foundation or some charitable organization. We have to talk about that further.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, Mr. Rapley has talked about it. I've thought further on it, and I'm thinking maybe we want to go something broader than just a Parks Foundation or Parks Committee or Parks charitable organization or something like that, and maybe just go with the Castle Hills Foundation to support educational and recreational opportunities
Broadly.
to the public.
Okay.
And we want to pick out the most broad application and charitable events that we could select from in the statute that's set out by the IRS that determines how we can become tax exempt. Maybe pick a broader name than simply the Parks Foundation or.
Educational and entertainment committee, or account, or something like that?
Can I interject here for a second on that? There was, and this may be an appropriate item or an appropriate opportunity here, but the Castle Hills Community Organization was working on nonprofit status. They were working development. It's been kind of a work in progress. And they've been picking on for years as time and resources allow, people having the appropriate time. You know, that might be the perfect organization to utilize as a nonprofit. That you already have, everything's established, the organization is established, you have the people, the volunteerism in the organization. They already do things specifically for the community, not in this sense, but they already do things for the community, and they have community members of all ages, younger, with children and all that, all the way to more our age, if we can say that.
So it seems like you're implying perhaps we should go ahead and invite them to one of our meetings here, so leadership and maybe might be interested in attending, and speak to them about their capacity or willingness to go ahead and
provide help and encouragement to help them get the status, and we utilize that as provide that, because they can do about anything in that regard, the way they're structured. So, and this is a very raw idea, so you gotta bear with me.
If I recall, I thought that they already had gotten that status
I don't know,
because that's, apparently we used to have funds dedicated to it.
right.
And then now it's separate, because I think even when I was here earlier this year, February, March, April, that we took an item to close that out.
Remember that.
Because
And for Fiesta, there was a.
And so that's how, because they had to, I think they had to get in order to be an official Fiesta, they had to get that status. I'm not saying I know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure. But we can look into that.
They are an official Fiesta event now. I know
Yes.
it's not relevant, but they are official.
So those might have been stipulations by the Fiesta
Well,
to say,
Fiesta Group is a separate nonprofit, right?
Well.
they're under the
I'm talking
umbrella
about
of,
Fiesta San Antonio, the big Fiesta group, okay? We are an official Fiesta sanctioned event
yes.
as part of that now because of the efforts they've put in the past, but I'm just talking community organization. Yes, it's only, one little committee of it. And so it's.
But they had to get that designation in order to be sanctioned.
I'm inclined to think that we may want to ask Mr. Schnall about that, about the advisability of turning the city foundation over to the community organization to run for us.
You say it's a city foundation, though.
Well, if it's a city foundation that we're going to establish to promote our parks and our library, then we turn it over to, say, a Fiesta committee or a community organization.
Right.
They have a whole different agenda that they're interested in. And I'm inclined to think that this is something that the city would prefer to keep some control over rather than turn it over to a private group, which is not in the city and not subject to city governance or any of that sort of thing.
So you're thinking this nonprofit that is formed would be appointed by the city or city council members?
I'm thinking that if you had such an organization, one of the keys of one of those organizations is that whoever's in charge of it loses control in the end, unless you have some means of appointing people. Like, for example, the Getty Foundation is essentially controlled by the heirs of Paul Getty. Okay. The Gates Foundation will be essentially controlled by Bill Gates' heirs and so forth. If we had a foundation, the executives or trustees of whom were appointed by the city council, for example, then you have some control over some time back to the city to see that the committee maintains the organization that you're intended for at the outset.
Right.
If we turn it over to an outside organization like the organization and so forth,
Certainly, there might be
there's no such control.
It's a reasonable thought.
Yeah.
There's no such control.
I'm just thinking, the only reason I bring it up is because the structure is already in place.
I agree with you. I think it is pretty much in place, although I don't think they don't have a charitable foundation or corporation yet.
And I don't know, I know they were striving for
I
that.
think they were aiming in that direction. I'd like to talk to Mr. Stahl about it before we make a decision about it. And I think that decision is one for the council to make, not one for us to make necessarily. I think our function is to make a recommendation to the council that we consider a nonprofit organization as a donor focus for people to make contributions to activities that they want the city to carry out, like, for example, parks or the library or whatever else that the city might want to support. So that's kind of my thought on it.
Do we have an action item at that point?
We can have an action.
We have a discussion. I see a discussion with Mr. Donald. I don't see anything more than that at this point.
I see a discussion. I think eventually we're going to have to make a recommendation to the council to do whatever we decide is appropriate.
Right.
And at some point, maybe we need to do that. I don't think it has to necessarily be done right this minute. But at some point, when somebody wants to make a donation, then we want to have a tool for them to make the donation and get a recognized receipt or one that will be recognized by the IRS.
Right.
I have a quick question. Would it be appropriate for our website here, as directed by the city manager, to go ahead and start to put in some sort of, simple means to go ahead and volunteer to make payments to these various things? Well, let's say we go and create this foundation. This foundation is going to have a bank account. It's going to have a connection through PayPal or whatever. I'm just pulling something out of the air. It's a vehicle for us to go ahead and do it. Would it be appropriate for our city website to have a link to that and describe what it takes? This is what the foundation is for. 501c3. This is a tax benefit for not. And this is what the goals of this money is when you give it. And put a little link and an icon right here somewhere in the lower left-hand corner of the city website. So that way the folks can look at this and say, hey, this is a convenient and easy way for me to go ahead and get.
Certainly. I think all of that's possible and appropriate if we have the focus for the donations to put it on our city website, give them an opportunity to make a donation. And there really isn't any reason why when they make a donation, they cannot designate it for one or the other of the projects that are underway, like, for example, a park or the library or whatever else that came up that might fall under that.
Agreed.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, it can be done, we just have to have that mechanism set up.
Right.
Right now, if someone came in and left a donation for the city, I mean, they'd have to really specify, so those dollars would have to be kind of on hold. Or if they just say, I want to donate it to, and may just go into the general fund, but it could be earmarked. But we need that mechanism in place, like Councilman McCormick said.
So we don't have a mechanism, and really nobody knows, maybe perhaps few people even know that they can give money to the city and stipulate how it's.
Well, I think you can give money to the city. The problem is the city does not have a tax ID for the sort of donations that you're talking about. I don't think there's any reason why the city couldn't accept them and give a receipt for it. And I don't know whether the IRS will accept that receipt as a tax deduction or not. Just, I don't have any idea. But I think I can talk to Mr. Stahl about the feasibility of this project and whether it's advisable to put it under the city or the other organizations. I can do that and make that available next time whenever we come back, and we can table it until then for further discussion.
I concur. So I say we table this with Mr. McCormick having the discussion as he shared with us.
I think if someone, to answer Mr. Sanderson, that if we had a particular project that was underway, like say we were building, I mean, we already have an animal shelter, but if we were starting from ground up and building one, if someone came in right now and said, I would like to donate the money, that would just be a straight donation for helping fund the new building per se. But like Mr. McCormick said, there's not the tax side of it.
That certainly sounds like something that the council has to take care of and manage, right? I mean, that's kind of that's their value there.
So that was under item 5.
So I motion to table, do I have a second?
Second.
I hope that
Third.
helps.
Discussion?
So we're in favor of table item until next meeting?
Yep.
Does that help, Ms. Sanderson? Or does that clarify that that's what could be done now versus in the future?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so the item number 6, discussion of possible action organizing library and possible committee. I thought we had some discussion of that in our previous meeting here, in the NPO meeting, and I think we are going to defer on that one also.
The idea there was that I will contact Ms. Scott and Mr. Udemeyer and talk to them further about it, and then we'll make a decision about how to proceed forward with the city, with the council if we need to, or if Ms. Scott wants to just work it on her own, that's fine too. And Mr. Udemeyer will work it on her own, that's fine too. And then bring it back to you next time. Table it until next meeting.
No action this one, 30 minute action.
No action, okay. Item number 7, discussion of possible action on committee membership and attendance. I think we had a conversation also about that, the one that we're not supposed to have. But have we already kind of decided what our course of action is on this one?
Well, I think it's appropriate for us to consider a similar course of action to whatever the NPO project committee decides to do. And what I recommended there was that we look at the rules for the city council. And if someone misses 3 consecutive meetings, which are not excused or noticed ahead of time, that person's position then becomes vacant after the third absence. And we can either leave it vacant or go back to the council and ask for a new appointee. I think it's appropriate that the council member who appointed that person be notified that that position is now vacant, and they can make their own decision about whether or not to make another appointment.
So one question, Skip, so if we follow that, and I like the idea is to make this thing automatic, so it keeps feelings out of it, if we avoid that. It's hard to do. I mean, can we make it to where we can shrink and grow automatically depending if we get these positions filled or not filled? We struggle for a quorum, so I was thinking if we can automatically reduce the size of it, after you miss 3, we've automatically, you're gone.
That's it.
And now, instead of committee. it's
3 consecutive, three consecutive, not 3 Spartans.
And I'm not, I'm not getting all the details, without excuses and all that too, but I'm saying, my question is the growth and the shrinkage of the committee, to make it automatic.
Yeah.
And so if somebody's missing, we don't have to go through much rigmarole, and we have 4 here, 3 here, we can have that form in
If we reduce our membership to 5 members on the committee at one time, then our quorum would be 3. The committee, right now, is 6 members. Our quorum is 4. and I haven't heard from Mr. Riley, so I don't know what his position is. But if we accept the idea that we're gonna go with 3 consecutive meetings, which are absences, which are not excused, or as a result of medical problems, then that person's seat becomes vacant and it's open to be filled. But the membership on the council, on the committee at that point is reduced by 1 person, and so our quorum might be reduced by 1 person.
Mine will be reduced.
It will be if it drops to 5.
Good.
If it drops to 6 or so forth.
That's what I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think we should also to be fair, and maybe this is kind of retroactive, perhaps the MPO committee, is make sure that we notify the folks that, that are absent prone, that this rule is being implemented, so they're fully aware of the rule.
I think it'll be in the minutes of this meeting, but I'll be making phone calls
Okay.
to the people who may be affected.
Okay.
And let them know where we are on.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody has a chance to be notified. So properly notified.
And I would suggest that, as chairmen of both committees, they can kind of put those members on notice to let them know, you missed this one, you missed this one.
Your next one is.
Yeah.
They kind of already know which ones they've missed, right? I mean, that's,
Well, one is already basically resigned, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we are fine.
Ms. Garza, no, we're 6. So our quorum is 4.
Okay, even though she's resigned.
Well,
Yes.
it hasn't been official though. Has she officially stepped away? Has there been official notification or has it been a phone call?
Well,
Did she email?
she sent me an email. She sent me a text,
A text? Okay.
and
I think that's
I'll
notice.
make that available.
Okay.
No, that's reasonable.
Well, I don't know. So,
No, I think it's reasonable, and that's appropriate that you check.
I would
What did she
suggest
say?
that she send a notice to the council member who appointed her and let her know that she's resigning from this committee. Please find someone else as an alternate to remain at 6.
and I hope that.
Ms. Garza said, and what I didn't do is I didn't make clear whether this applies to both committees or not. But her response to my previous text was, sorry for the delay, I've been contemplating over this as I have looked over agendas. I feel at this time I need to step away as I feel I'm not able to put forth my full efforts. My family is still very young, and that's where my priority is. Thank you for your time. My response was, I understand completely, don't blame you a bit. Thanks for your efforts so far. I think they've been helpful. We'll consider you withdraw. And I'll pass that around. People will look at it because I scroll up or down. But hers is the one in white right above that.
Okay.
I can't recall if it was Ms. McClellan or Ms. Scott who appointed her.
I'm sorry?
Ms. Scott. did.
Ms.
I mean,
Scott.
Correction, Ms. McClendon.
Ms. McClellan? Okay.
So, I guess what we need Steve, maybe better to do this, we need a motion to, we can do that on this one, we can act on this one right now.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned it to incorporate, what you said, incorporate council
Council rules.
rule on that.
Okay. So here's my motion. I move that our committee accept the council rules for terminating members who miss three or more consecutive meetings which are neither excused by medical reasons or noticed ahead of time, absences noticed ahead of time, and that person's seat who does miss 3 of those consecutive meetings will be considered vacant at that point, upon which we will notify the council member who appointed that member of our committee that seat is vacant, and they have the option of selecting someone else as a replacement if they wish.
Did you add on that the committee size will automatically?
Oh, yes. Once someone is removed from the committee for non-attendance, the committee size will drop by 1 member, whoever that person is who is dropped. Our committee size is 7 folks, as I recall. Each of the council members got to appoint 1, and then they appointed me as a council rep to the committee. So that's 7 of us. And if we lose 1 person, we'll drop to 6. If we drop to 5, our quorum will drop to 3.
I'll second that. And I'm going to go ahead and vote.
Okay. I have no discussion on that. Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, that discussion.
Just
I apologize.
thanks for the clarification, Skip.
Oh, sure.
So, okay.
Yeah, discussion? Anyone want to discuss?
Nope.
Vote?
In favor.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so moving right along, it looks like that we have item number 8, which is open discussion of new ideas and accept new ideas from the public. Well, it looks like our adoring fans in public here have not showed up, but, anybody have, I guess, since we are also public, we can also come up with new ideas.
Yeah.
Anybody have any
We're
ideas?
gonna have to work on the kolaches and the donuts, that's just not working.
Yeah, so we tried bribery by food, by coffee.
How about cigars?
Yeah, we can do that too.
Cigars, really?
Yeah,
It'd be a small investment for now, but heck, who knows?
yeah, no kidding. Yes, do we have a cigar budget available for our committees? I'd love to see the look on the face of the council right here, if we go ahead and pass that. That'd be classic.
We buy a cigarette boat and import cigars from Cuba.
There we go.
Now we get a committee.
Yeah, a quick trip to Canada will solve all those problems.
Okay.
We definitely don't have the funds for that.
Okay, we need to pick the next meeting, I guess we're gonna do that.
Discuss meeting and schedule and set and announce the date and time of the next meeting, unless there's any discussions, guess we're done, we're moving on here, so that's number
We have
9.
an appeal meeting set February 16th at 10 a.m. I would propose that we set the Parks Committee meeting also at the same date and at 11:30.
Any discussion?
You seconded it.
Yep, discussion? Vote?
Yep.
All for?
Thank you.
Announcements, does anybody have any announcements? So,
Don't have any
meeting. John?
No announcements, thank you.
Jack?
No announcement for it.
I've got none.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All third?
Adjourn?
Heck of a deal, we're out by 12:15.
That's right.
Looks like we're-
Okay, you run.